welcome to my channel. Now I'm just about to cut layboards in on dormers, which is a job that we always have to do. Layboards are very popular. A layboard simply means that we pitch a roof and then we build another roof off of it. So instead of a valley rafter intersecting them equally, you build like the prime roof or the primary roof, and then the next one lays over, and in America you call it a cricket. Anyway, so let's get on and mark the layboards. Now, using the metric roofing square, it's very simple to find the angle. Now, you need to have a little bit of knowledge about the metric roofing square and how it works, but in principle, it's very straightforward. There's a point here which says rafter. It's basically a striking point. And if you can imagine that that is the center of a protractor, which is a half circle, so that would be the center, and then radiating up this side are the angles. So if you can imagine a protractor, that was the center, there's the protractor, and then radiating up are the angles. So this roof I'm pitching is 45 degrees. So to find the angle of my layboard, I would use my roofing square. I'd set it up as if I was setting a rafter up. In this case, 45 degrees. There's the rafter point, there's 45 degrees. And I would strike a line here and strike a line here. Now this length that I've just made there, I will transfer to this side of the square, pop a pencil mark on. Now that, from there back to my rafter line, will give me the exact angles of my layboard. I'll set my square up to that with this fence. Let me set this up. Where are we? There. And this will give me... Right, so now we can mark that onto a piece of timber. And we'll cut the foot cut first before we do our direct measurement of the length. So I'm going to use a section of this timber here, and I'm going to cut a bottom cut on it. So this is the layboard, this is the top cut, this is the bottom cut here. Let's clean off this timber. Bird. So the foot cut of my layboard is basically this angle here, except it's going to be laying over and on the plate. So it's actually going to have an edge bevel on the bottom, like a compound cut. Now, because our roof's at 45 degrees, it's very straightforward. It will sit at 45 degrees, and I can actually use a circular saw to cut that. If it was anything under 45 degrees, this cut would then be steeper than 45 degrees, and it's difficult to achieve that on a circular saw because you'd be laying over at the seat cut. So it's a bit more tricky, but I'll try to explain that another time. So I can cut that through there, and then I need a point on here which represents the bird's mouth. And to find that out exactly, is I would take a seat cut, mark all the way through, and that measurement there is exactly where we need to be, measured level, 87 millimeters from that edge there. That is exactly where my wall plate is. As a reference, I know exactly where that is. And in my case here, because I don't want it hanging out anywhere, we could lose that if we wanted to here, or equally, we could bird's mouth it over into, which we'll do, into the roof space. So that is the lay board, and this, if this was the wall plate, it would be sitting over like that. So using, this is the actual bird's mouth I cut out, and I've brought this up because what I need to do for my direct measurement is lay that angle on here to see where it intersects with the corner of the bird's mouth or the plate. So I've got a mark here. I've also got a mark on the top of the ridge, which I'll show you, and that mark is the thickness. So that mark is the thickness. Now I measure between those 2 points. I could work this out geometrically, but it's always nice to check exactly what the measurement is, because if something's slightly in twist, out of parallel or whatever, this is the best way of getting it exactly right. So I can see that my lay board there is going to be 1630, 1630. And that's my length. I'll write that on here. I'm going to check the other side while I'm up here, go and make them both, then we can fit them in. So I mark the splay onto the wall plate here. That's my measuring point, 16. So they're virtually the same, 1635. So within 5mm we could probably pull that ridge over. Let's check it straight. Good. Right, let's go and cut them. I'll transfer my length from the point where I measured. This is exactly the intersection point that I measured. Just mark it onto the top edge. Check it back this way to make sure it's right. 1630. Now we mark the top cut there. This is the top cut. Take that off. Now for the opposite side, I'll use that cut. So I'm just going to turn this around now, mark my other foot, turn this over, measure my length. We're going to strike a line like this, and we're going to use our bird's mouth template now. Pop this on top, keep the tops flush. We line her up there. We're going to be here. Overmark that with a square. Obviously we're taking him off here. Now we'll take that one off as well. And there we have a pair of lay boards, which we're going to fit. Now that's how she fits, and the top edges all line up. Just spike that home. Beautiful bracing that is for a roof, a lay board. Really good bracing. I'm going to fix the top. That's it. So that's how I cut lay boards for a dormer. Doesn't have to be a dormer, could be any kind of roof and extension where you need a lay board. Or as our American friends call it, a cricket. Thanks for joining me, catch you again soon.